everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Global Love Revolution. Today I have a featured speaker, and she is a super Ablution woman from South Africa, Stephanie Swanapoel. And welcome, Stephanie.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure. You are so far away and you agree to say, let's do it. Let's have some fun. So I know, that the topic we're going to talk about today is about conscious parenting. I think this is something not just about talking about how you do parenting, but it's related to education and relations between, like, as a parent, children, as well as something else that related to the relationship. Would you agree with that?
No, definitely. It's not just about a mother or a father, but it's about teachers, it's about aunts and uncles, anybody that is actually around children and educating children. We can all make a difference, and we all make more of an impact than we actually think or believe.
Ah, okay. That's interesting. So when you say, maybe you can explain to all of us about the definition about conscious parenting. You when you look outside on the book, you search for in a library, you have parenting. How do you become a good parent, or how do you do parenting? But it never occurred to me that the word of conscious parenting. Perhaps you can share with us your thought about that.
No, definitely. And it's not easy as a parent. They don't come with instructions or a manual. You just have to wing it. But I believe in giving them opportunities and choices and all of that, because we don't realize how smart children actually are, and they see more than we think, and they hear more than we think, and they know more than we think. We might be talking to one another and thinking, oh, they're busy watching TV or playing. They don't hear us, but they do. They do hear what you say, and they do see the things you do. And I also believe, like, you need to lead by example. You can't tell them to do one thing and then you do the complete opposite, because that makes a link in their minds where they see you doing something else and you're telling them to do another. So what kind of message are you actually sending them?
So if I understand that correctly, that the way that you speak, the way you as a parent, when you do something, right, you tell that the message that you send to them, it's actually the act of conscious, right? Like you are actually doing it consciously. This is the message I sent to my kids, and I want them to learn from there. So if, let's say, I was angry and say, do this, or just keep quiet. So when I do that, I send a message, like a negative vibe to the child, and he or she will get it, and it's like, oh, okay, next time I shouldn't say anything.
Definitely, yes. And we need to be more conscious of the way we speak to our children as well. And believe me, I know sometimes it's hard and you just lose it. But then you need to be able to admit when you're wrong, because that's how they learn. They learn that it's okay to be wrong, because everybody makes mistakes, because you are able to admit it.
Wow.
And that's everything. If you are able to be compassionate to others, I believe that would be like taught to your children by them seeing you acting like that.
Well, Stephanie, it seems like you have a rich knowledge in about educating your children, and we have a conversation. You were talking about you want to be a role model for your children. You want to make sure they grow up really in fully function. Even they step out to the real world, they know how to become a real human being and serve themselves and serve others. So how did you come to this point? That is so important. Is this something that you personally have been through, and you decide, okay, I want the better for my kids. I don't want them to go through the same thing that I did before.
Definitely. My childhood wasn't really ideal. I was one of 5 children, and my mother and father were constantly fighting, and he was an alcoholic, and she was trying to keep us afloat. But she had her own demons to fight. So it was hard being the last born child. I was almost forgotten about. And I feel like I went my whole life going through this thing of not feeling like I belonged. I didn't feel like I was part of a family. I didn't feel like I had any support structure or anything like that. And I made a conscious decision when I had my children that I was going to have them and I was going to give them what I wanted out of life.
Wow. So that's very tough, living in a dysfunctional family environment, and not having the love, especially right when you first born, that nurturing, it's not there. And I kind of feel like you losing that link between where you belong, right? You come to a world, but there's no parents' love, and you kind of lost your way. So how did you step out from there? What made you turn so fast that you realize, I need to find some way to make myself better? Because you look gorgeous, I was like, there must be some piece of it. What's that?
Well, I have also learned that it starts with you. You need to, and it might sound a bit selfish, but you can't be there for anybody else if you can't truly love yourself and find that time to make yourself important. Because you can't give anything to anybody if you don't have anything to give. So I went through a really rough patch, and I met this amazing lady who also taught me amazing things. And I know that you have to start with you, and then from there you can move forward and give to others. But it's also, I think we have choices in life, and there's probably millions of people that had exactly the same upbringing as I had, and they went either way. You can go either way, and it's your choice. Where you go in life is your choice. But it's also, you need to find that spark, that passion, that light within yourself, that you want to be more, you want to be better than your circumstances, because you're not your past.
Well, Stephanie, did you have any role model in life, during your difficult time, and when you're in that chaotic environment? Is there anyone held your hand and say, Stephanie, get out now, let's go someplace better?
I wouldn't really, there was no one person that actually made that spark within me to say, you need to wake up now. It's more of a voice from inside of me that came and slapped me and said, you can't do this. You have to be better, if not just for yourself, but for your children. You cannot be exactly the person, the kind of parent that you didn't want to be. So it was more of a voice inside of me that says you can.
Oh no, we lost connection. Guys, don't go. We will be right back. Take a deep breath. Okay, so you were saying you actually hear your inner voice telling you that you need to get out from the shadow, and start living a full life.
Definitely.
Wow, that's but there's something a lot of people facing now, I would say, because we are bombarded with so many noises. Sometimes we have the inner critic, right, or the ego self talking to us louder than our true self. The true, the what we call the intuition self, right, was talking to us. We couldn't hear it because it's so soft. But you, on the other hand, you would say you hear it. That's amazing. So is there any, perhaps something that you have done, like maybe is there a practice that you set up for yourself that allow you to be able to hear that voices?
I probably started out with meditation. I came across meditation by accident.
Oh.
I was I was about 18 years old, and one of my friends, her grandmother, went to this group, and they were all fairly old ladies that started to do guided meditations and card readings, and we thought, well, that might actually be quite fun, and we went with them one day, and I had this amazing experience with meditation,
Mm.
and I started doing that, but I've always been a bit strange and peculiar in the way that I see life. I started with that, and then I also, this lady that I met, she kept encouraging me to not just listen to what people say, but to go and find my own way. And life isn't a one size fits all. What works for me might not work for somebody else. That's why you need to go search and go look and go read and go experience and find and explore so that you can find what suits you. So that is how I started. And the more you try and the more you go and look and find what resonates within you, because I know exactly when I start doing something or reading or looking at something, I can feel that thing inside me go, yes, this is for me, or like, no, it's not really working for me.
Wow. So guys, you have to learn how to explore the world by going through different program. It's something today you listen from Stephanie. She's sharing some of her insight and wisdom that is resonate with you. Take it with you and then maybe apply your life, in your life right away. Don't need to wait. So
No.
yeah, there is something I also want to ask you. In our conversation last time, you talk about your relationship with your sister, and I would just wonder, because your parents were in a strange marriage, and it caused you to look for, basically, right? Look for a parent's model, and so you can be a good parent. And I know you say you refer to your sister. So how was that relationship, you and your sister? I'm sure it affected both of you, but do you want to share a little bit?
No, definitely. They've told me this story so many times, but my older sister was 18 when my mother fell pregnant with me, and she kept joking with her and said, oh, she was going to smother me, because how could my mother have another baby when she was 18? But she was there the day where I was born. She was the first person that actually bathed me and dressed me, and her now husband would keep taking me out of my cot and taking them into her room. So I've always had that connection with her. And most of my childhood memories are times that I spent with her and her husband. So that was definitely, they have been the cornerstone of my life. But it's also, I was around 13 years old when they moved away. So that I feel was quite hectic, but we always kept in touch, and I've always known that they will always be there for me.
Wow. So what is the one thing that you learned from your sister?
It's to be flexible and to survive, because she is also absolutely amazing. She's gone through many things in her life that I can't even imagine how to fight one of them. She's had polio, she's had cancer, she's lost her fingers, and she's going on.
Wow, wow.
So
That's
it's like
amazing.
you never give up, you never stop fighting, you just push through it.
Wow. Well, that is a golden wisdom right there. Like no matter what comes to you, sometimes you just have to embrace it and accept the fact it's happening for you. and what can you do about it, right? Instead of like complaining and saying, why this happened to me? Why not someone else? And then why, and you start going through life already past few years, and then you're still there, you're not resolving the issue.
Exactly.
My
And I promise you, there's nobody that jokes more about the things that she's gone through than herself. She makes it like, ugh, it happened. Whatever, it is what it is.
Wow, she has a sense of humor. I'm sure she's a super evolution woman. I love her. That's amazing.
No, she is absolutely amazing.
So Stephanie, I want to come back to the area about you and your children. How do you create a bond with your children? Do you have a technique or approach that you can share with us?
So what I like to do is I always like to reinforce the fact that I will always be there with them. They can tell me anything. There's nothing in life that they won't be able to tell me, that I won't be able to love them unconditionally. And I believe that we need to make them aware that you can be whoever you want to be, and that's fine. You don't have to care about what the rest of the world is thinking or saying, as long as you're happy. And I think a lot of people have got so out of touch with that. They are more concerned about what other people think, about what other people are saying. They forget to live their lives in a way that they are happy and comfortable with. And that's what I keep reinforcing in them, is if you're happy, then that's all good. There's nothing in this world you will ever be able to not tell me, because I will always love you.
Wow. But well, Stephanie, I know your kids are pretty young. Did you actually share what you just told us? Yeah. Wow.
I do. I talk to them exactly like I talk to you. I talk to them. There's a lot of things that I try and teach them, and I have this lady, and she said, there's no way they'll be able to pick that up at 5 and 6 years old. And I'm like, it's fine if they don't, but at least I'm sowing the seed. At least I'm starting. And I believe that you start when they're young. You sow that seed when they're young. There's no use in trying when they're 16, 17. Because then there'll be teenagers that think, oh, whatever, she doesn't know what she's talking about. But if I start now, it's something that will resonate deep within them. It will always stick at the back of their mind.
Wow, I love it. Yeah, it's so true. It's just like you are trying to planting a seed, right? You want something to grow, blossom later. And this is a good way to do it. So I assume like this is like the way that you communicate with your kid. Is there other like ritual maybe you set up with them that help you to create more connection with your kids?
So what I like to do in the mornings is when we get up, we have our cuddle time. And I'll ask them, because I do believe they need to have a choice. They can't just do what I want to do, because what resonates with me might not resonate with them. So I'll ask them, do you want to pray? Do you want to do meditation with me? Like, what do they want to do? And if they have a problem as well, I ask them, what do you think would make it better? How can we work together to try and resolve this problem? What are you feeling? And if you cry, it's okay to cry. We all cry sometimes. If you're hurting, it's okay to say you're hurting. Feel your feelings and let's find a solution together.
Wow, that's powerful. All right, parents out there, you're watching this. One is communicate with your kids. Second is really give them option, ask the question, and really tune into their level of feeling. How do you feel? Just ask a simple question. You don't need to force them. A lot of time, I realize some of the parents, they like to interfere kids' life. It's like, okay, it's time to eat now. You all have to come and drop everything. Sometimes young kids, especially young kids, didn't understand, why should I stop playing and go eating if I'm not hungry, right? And I actually watched, I wasn't sure what movie there I watched, but there was a talking about the parents and children. You should always allow them to enjoy themselves, because you can tell them, it's kind of like you are planting a seed and say, okay, we're going to have lunch at at certain time, but
Yes.
you can play as much as you can. I won't come and call you, right? Whenever you're ready, you come. Okay, if you tell them this way, they know consciously they're playing. There's like, okay, when I'm hungry, I still have food to eat, so they will come to you. If you force them, a lot of time, like especially teenagers, right, when they don't listen to you, it's not because they don't respect you. It's just they feel that you are interfere their life, their privacy, or you don't let them be free. This is like, I feel like we create a boundary or limitation as a human. Then of course, the more limitation we set for ourselves, the more rebellions we want to come up. No, I don't want to do what you said. I'm going to go the other way.
Definitely. The more you fight them, the more they'll fight you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is very interesting. So, Stephanie, it seems like you're so passionate with your children. What do you feel like? What is emerging in your life right now that you wanted to create or share with the world?
A better way of interacting with children and a better way of teaching children. I have this passion burning in me where I want to teach children that there is so much to life. I want to teach them mindfulness and meditation, but I also want to teach parents that there is a better way of interacting with your children, because it is definitely a two-way thing. You can't just focus on the one and not the other, and not just to parents though, but teachers as well, because teachers have a great effect on us. And I can imagine like teachers saying these horrible things to children, and it sticks with them forever, because I have had friends tell me, and my husband has told me, memories that he's had of what his teachers have said. And it's normally the bad things. It's human nature. We normally remember the bad things they say. We can teach teachers a better way of interacting with children and better coping skills as well, because I cannot imagine sitting in a classroom with 30 children and they're all different personalities, like how you deal with that. So I believe we also need to teach them a better way, and we need to teach children to also explore.
I like that. Yeah, it's about giving an education for both sector, which is the children's and the parents, because they are so intimate connected. They are so close. If you only teach the kids, but when they go home, the parents don't understand, it's the same thing. You're going to create a negative impact in the children's life. So wow, I think you got a good mission, and I think you are living soul of teaching that. You are a perfect teacher for both both
Parents and children.
Yes, if you really reflect back on your own life journey, you have been through, as a kid, right? As a child, you've been through that tough time, and you've been wounded, and now you heal, and now you came to a point you become a parent, and you understand. I remember, maybe this is something you can share with us as well. What were you aware right now? You reflect back your story, and did you still have the blame about your parents because they raised you that way?
For a long time, I did. Everything that would come up that would hurt me or that I thought was wrong in my life, I would say, oh, it's because of my mother. Oh, it's because of my father. But then I realized they were also just doing the best they could. And they didn't know any better. People don't go around teaching people that this is a better way of doing things. This is how you work through your own things. Because my mother and father, they also didn't come out of a fantastic place. my father's father died when he was very young, and he had to take over the household. I think he was
Mhm.
about 9 years old when his father died. And then my mother was adopted, and her parents that adopted her died as well. So they all have their demons to fight. We all come from a place in our life where we have to learn and grow, and it's our choices what we make of it.
Oh, I love it. Wow. Stephanie, you definitely is the right person to carry this mission. So, do you do you need any support, or if you want people to connect with you that have the same vision like you, where can they find you?
Definitely, I would love if people could maybe tell me if they have any ideas on how we can raise the awareness and teach people and teach children. They can contact me at my email address, which is swart, so it's SSWART
Hmm.
299 at gmail.com.
All right, guys, if you want to connect with Stephanie, I will also post her email below this video, or you can find us on our community group in the Facebook. So one last question, Stephanie, for you. How do you define an evolutionary woman?
I love it. I absolutely love it. When I started Barbara's teaching, like it's just resonated deep inside of me. And I've always find it hard to connect with people, and I feel like the group is very open and loving, and it's just a fantastic place to connect with like-minded people because we're all there at the same place looking for the same thing.
Mm. So what is a definition for you, evolutionary women?
It's the waking up of mankind. And I feel it's not just for women though. I feel it's probably our time. Women are so strong at this stage, and we're not just strong, we're open-minded. But it's the kind of movement that people in general need to do to just start waking up.
I love it. This is a very, I think this is so true. Evolutionary is not just for women. So evolutionary path is for men and women, and you guys can become a conscious parents and start educate your children and bring them together, become an evolutionary children. How about that? So everyone can be evolutionary, and then together we can create what I call the revolution. All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining us today. And thank you guys for watching. Remember, stay on your evolutionary path. Love yourself, love others, and do something that matters to the world. See you guys
Go.
next week and take care. Bye.
Bye.